Hello, hello.
All right. I believe we are live right now. Um, Let me check the YouTube thing and see what's going on over there. Do, 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 do. How do I? Hmm. Where do I? How do I see where this is on the thing?
So if you go to your YouTube studio, there's the uploads and there's a live section.
Should I be able to see this if I'm not in the studio or no? Oh yeah, it says it's
I
live.
have no idea, Ian.
Oh, it's because it's unlisted. That's my bad. Okay. Okay. Now we should be good. Okay, now we're live. All right. So, what did you guys think? Let's just start. So actually, first
You're forgetting Brady. He's backstage.
Yeah. Everybody introduce themselves
Thank
first.
you, Ian.
Sorry, Brady. I was getting it all set up. Everyone introduce himself first.
I'll go for it. Yeah, I'm Brady. I hosted this episode of Survivor Michigan All Stars. It's my first season hosting. I played on season 3, so happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Anders. I am a host of Survivor Maryland, and I am a current reality TV producer.
I am Andrew. Many years ago, I was on Survivor UVA, hosted it, and now I live in New York doing boring finance stuff.
I'm Ryan. I also am from UVA, similar to Andrew. I played back in season 4 and a couple more times as well.
I'm Shane. I founded Scotty Survivor at Carnegie Mellon, and yeah, I might be on a future season as well.
Is that everybody? And I'm Ian, and I'm the editor for Survivor Michigan. So what did you guys think of that premiere? There was a lot to talk about. We'll start wherever you guys want to start.
Yeah, I'll start right here. Boo! Boo! That result pissed me off. I will say this. I'm sure we can just go full spoilers here. Spoilers if you haven't watched the episode.
Spoilers for episode 1 if you have not seen it. This is full spoilers.
As a self-proclaimed Akshay stan, that was the most garbage bullshit decision I've ever seen. I have a lot to say about it, but I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to just jump into my thoughts.
Anders, honestly, you should just jump right into your thoughts because I need to know why Akshay was the designated first boot from the get-go. Like,
so
what was
I can explain that a little bit. Basically, it gets explained a little bit more in the next episode, but basically, there was rumors there was going to be a first day boot. There was a large contingent of people pushing Tom, as you might expect, and there were some people who wanted to work with Tom, and a secondary contingent led by Cooper and Leia, who were upset with Akshay for they blame him for their loss in season 1. They wanted him out for specifically that reason, and this gets addressed somewhat in the next episode. But there wasn't. It would have required a lot of footage of preseason to go into it, and I decided it wasn't necessarily worth it because I don't really think had much of an impact on the ultimate outcome. But it is unfortunate, and we're never a fan of pre-gaming really. But in these kinds of seasons where everyone knows each other, it's slightly inevitable.
Yeah. So going off what Ian said, pregame was inevitable, and we were trying to like limit the pre-gaming by low-key fucking with the contestants a tad. And so everyone knew everyone's communicating. The second casting came out, everyone knew who was cast. They knew it was a cast of 21. And so immediately it's oh, there's gonna be someone vote off 2 tribes of 10. It's gonna happen. So shit was all going down. And then like Ian said, there was some Tom, some Akshay. It was just all going crazy. But then as producers, we were very happy because we were there's not a first day vote off. Haha, gotcha. Some pregame was for nothing. So it worked well.
I just want to at least point this out before eventually launching into it. I just think it was interesting that Akshay was the immediate decision for like, for a first date boot that him and Tom were, and then he was such an easy choice. I have a lot of thoughts around certain demographics and reasoning behind it, and I'm sure we'll get further into it. But for me, the fact it was Akshay first, I was like, such bullshit. I am so irritated by it. Akshay is an incredible player. He's so entertaining. He's such a good player. And the fact that Sam's absolute garbage decision somehow hurt Akshay's game, what hell are we living in?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Because truly, if Sam hadn't sent that message, I don't believe Akshay would have gone home. I think it would have been Lucy probably if Sam hadn't sent the message.
I too am pretty crushed at this Akshay boot. I mean, Akshay's a friend of mine, so it's like on a personal level, I feel bad for him, but also like, damn, I basically said going into this vote though that like anybody going on this tribe was going to be a big hit, to be honest. But I just am mind boggled that Sam made it out of that. Mind boggled. He would have been gone right away in my book, right away. I mean, the fact that he made it out of that and then got what he wanted is unbelievable. I mean, great gameplay.
Okay, so yeah, love to Akshay, but I also want to say I feel like I may be on the opposite spectrum here because I feel like this vote out sets up next week so well because I'm so excited to see Erin just like be pissed. Like she was like the godfather and she was on the wrong side of the vote. So that's gonna be some interesting stuff right there. And for me, that was the perfect outcome.
What did people think about, I mean, there's obviously tons and tons to delve into with Pawnee, but there's some interesting stuff happening in the other tribes as well. What were people's thoughts on some of what was going on with, Sangria, where you have Will kind of making up with all these people who were upset with him? What do people think about this? Were they surprised to see Will with this social game?
Let me say this with Sangria. As soon as I saw that tribe, I went, this is the most cursed tribe I've ever seen. You put people like Leah, you put people like Bree, and then you're like, what if we put them with Will and we put them with these other villain people? I'm like, oh my God. Why do you hate these people? Why do you want to put them through this torture? Literally half of this episode was, Will's the worst person I've ever met and I hate him. And then the second half was, maybe Will's good. And I was like, oh my God, what is this tribe?
A good social game.
Honestly, yeah, kind of impressive that he was able to like instantly patch things up by being like vulnerable or whatever. But I would love to hear Anders talk about Will, because I remember 2 years ago he and I were on a podcast for season 3, and you had some opinions about Will. I think it was like maybe the 5th episode or something, but we were like,
no, it was the end of the season that I had an opinion on Will. And let me say this, the fact that him, Emily B, and Emily P all came back and were like, Aaron, get the fuck over it. My God. Emily B, more like Emily Bitter. Emily P, she called herself a queen, more like Emily Peasant. I am so tired of these people holding on to this grudge for no fucking reason. It's insane to me because it's like, guys, I get it. You had some derangement against Aaron, and the fact you're coming back again with that derangement, it didn't work the first time. You think people are going to be more in time, like they're going to say, yeah, now's the time we take out Aaron. It's like, guys, please give me something to work with, because I'm not going to work with you're still bitter bitches.
100% agree. I literally booed at the screen when that came on. I was like, no, this is not what I want to see. Like, very much no. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what did Aaron ever do to these people? That is the real question. What did Aaron do? Because somebody let me know, because it does not make any sense to me. Like, truly.
I think what you have to understand is within the context of the show, part of their season 3 arc is into season 4. And in season 4, I would say that Aaron was sort of on like the cool side of the challenges in the season 4 production drama. And some people were more on the side of the different side of the production drama. And that also, I think, lends to some of it, and I personally don't feel there's a villain in this story. Just unfortunate that Survivor, can tear people apart like this.
Yeah, like the biggest thing was that there was just never any resolution to the season 3 drama at all.
Yeah.
And it just like kept building and building instead of like it ever being talked out or filtered. And so then it came into All Stars and it was like, we've never talked, we never interacted. Okay, we must be enemies. And then
going into the season, I remember that basically everybody was asking each other like, which side are you on, like Aaron or Emily? Like it was like that. It was like a level of like, where are you gonna be in this Aaron Emily war?
Which side are you on? Imagine a world, real quick, where one side just exists and the other side has a full group chat that was exposed where they talk shit mercilessly about this one person the entire season. It gets outed and you're still like, well, maybe that side's the right one. I can't. What?
Agreed. But also after this episode, I'm a little worried for Erin just because like that was not great for her at all. Like I'm really hoping that she can pull it around because like that was
How did you guys feel about the way that Aaron played this whole situation with Sam and everything?
I think she played it awfully. I don't know why she would come in. Like Sam made like a huge blunder, obviously, but why would she come in and be like, look, to save face, like you got to get rid of your ally and then all will be good. Like, I don't know how often in Survivor, especially this early on, you want to come in and try to put yourself out as like the Godfather, as they were saying. I think that's not the smartest thing to do. And for her to do it to Sam, who clearly like is willing to hold a grudge and is willing to try to flip like dynamics on his head, seemed a little foolish in my opinion, especially because she knows how bitter people can be in a game. She received the entire brunt of that in season 3. So I don't know why she would go off and try to strong arm someone in the first 3 days.
Yeah. It's shocking how fast it flipped from Sam being this huge, like easy target. And I think a big reason for that was Aaron going to Sam and kind of just like strong arming him. But I do have to say, I think Aaron plays a lot better from the bottom, and her playing or trying to play from the top this episode wasn't too great of a look for her. So I have a better outlook for the next episode, I think.
How about the Megan and Adam of it all?
Wait, I have a thing to say about the Aaron thing. So it's interesting that Aaron does that whole, well, just go with whatever the vote is. Because we then see Lucy do the exact same thing to I'm so sorry. There's so many names. I'm trying to remember them all.
Adam.
No. Lucy does it to Dylan. Where she's like, if you vote for me, you're fucking dead. And it's like, Aaron's was bad. Lucy's was one of the most, that one was actually, what are you talking about? If you told me I vote for you, I'm dead. It's like, Lucy, you're literally the other vote right now. You don't have power. Like, you were going home. But the reason that Akshay went home is not because Aaron made a mistake. It's because Adam and Megan were like, what if we keep Lucy in the game? What if we target Akshay? What if you, I don't know, stayed in your lane and didn't do that? I thought it was so weird to me that Adam's just so quick to switch up on Aaron and Dylan, just be like, well, Sam said he was sorry, so I guess I'm going to be on his side. If someone publicly talked about that they weren't sure they wanted to work with me or not, I'd be like, I don't trust you. Cry in my face. Bye. Your ally's going home. Figure it out next week.
I think we're going to see a lot of that from Adam in this season. I think Adam is making a deep run based on this episode. I think so. I think we're going to see a lot more of him than last season. Just a vibe from, I mean, he, at the end of the day, he wasn't the decision making like vote. So I think he's not going to be the person that they go after, in my opinion.
I mean, Shane, what are we talking about? 4 episodes this season?
I don't know. I think merge at least.
So it sounds like you can get the full Akshay story on a Keep Your Torch Lit. So if you want the full story from Akshay, that's what you can do. Let's get Ryan. Ryan, you haven't talked much. You got any thoughts on any of this?
my thoughts on the Adam situation here. I honestly disagree with Anders here. I think Adam and Megan both played it pretty well. I would argue that their position is better with Lucy and Sam than with the other side of things. You've got these huge threats, and also to be able to take somebody throwing out your name to flip that around. And I think he had it so well to the point where I think Sam is really wrapped around his finger in sorts. He really helped him out here and switched it around for Sam. So I like his positioning better with this decision.
No, I refuse to let someone say they're the greatest of all time. That's also a bad take here. Look, I think from a perspective, sure, they hold the majority now of Megan and Adam, but like they were right. Now it's 2-2-2 of the seasons. Like as we've already established, as the show beat us over the head with, Akshay's kind of alone. He's the easy vote. And taking him out does nothing to advance anyone's game. Sure, it puts Aaron and Dylan on the bottom, but like I don't think that's bad for either of them. Aaron and Dylan are very good at being at the bottom. They've shown that over and over. Like, I think you're being stupid if you think that Aaron or Dylan is the next one to go. So to me, it's like getting rid of Akshay was such a dumb decision. And I think I'm going to say this now just to get it out there. I think it is interesting that Akshay was the only person of color on the team and that he was the self-proclaimed easy vote. This isn't making a claim about anyone being racist, but it is to point out in a social game, the dynamics of race, gender, and sexuality matter. And I just think it's interesting that Akshay was so quickly demonized and focused on as the target when I don't think he made any blunder in this episode worse than anyone else, especially on this tribe when you have Sam who so publicly posts something where Lucy is openly threatening someone. It's crazy to me that it was Akshay, and I just feel like that decision doesn't make sense to me for like a purely like this is the strategic right move.
I think that in any All-Star season, you're going to see a lot of like social dynamics that are like pre-existing within this group like have a role. And I think in the first episode, it's harder to see what that is because we haven't had like, we haven't had like the 20 episodes before this showing how all these people got to this point socially. So we're like starting from this point, and hopefully it'll be more clear in later episodes. But I definitely think there is an aspect of just that Sam's on better social footing with some of the people like from the get-go, basically.
I do see Ender's point though. Like I thought the same thing, to be honest. I was like kind of shocked that Akshay was the immediate target. I do think it was the right move for Adam and Megan. However, I was surprised that Akshay's name came up so quickly, and especially like after the whole meeting with Aaron. Like I just was shocked that it like immediately went back to Akshay. Like I was really scared that Aaron was leaving. Like I was like, I feel like Aaron's gonna be the one to go here after that. So I just was confused on why, like what was the reasoning? If anything, why weren't you gonna split up Aaron and Dylan? Right? Like that makes more sense to me than going for Akshay.
Okay. Do we want to like pivot to, I don't know, some other topic, or want to keep talking about? Do we want to stick with Pani for now? Whatever you guys want to talk about. This is you guys' show.
So I want to ask about Megan's relationship with Jackson, because I don't understand how you can possibly hide something like that. Like, are these people in the club? Like, how is it possible that you're in a club that you can possibly hide relationship? I think I mean people did a good job of picking up on this Oscar fake stuff, but I don't know if it's a good decision or a bad decision because it is such a big target to be literally in a relationship with someone.
The brief backstory on it is they were sort of together at the end of season 4. They broke up in May, and everybody believed they had broken up, including production. And then when they applied for All Stars, we found out they were still together. And the cast did not know going into it.
Yeah, and like basically because they were on season 4 and it was like the end of like that semester, then like the summer happens, everyone goes and does their own thing, and like there's some people that stay in town and hang out all the time and everyone's really close. There's some people that play online games together that are really close. They didn't do either of those, and so it's just kind of like whispers in the wind of like, oh, like they're still talking, they're not talking, who knows what's going on. And they were definitely like a little, and like you can see that with a lot of the season 4 people, just because they didn't have like a semester producing to bond. together, and like to party during the year and whatever. So yeah, it was just like because summer happened and like everyone did their own thing, that it was just like no one had stayed in touch with them really.
Well, it's funny that the only person really to be like, I know they're together is Tom. What a king. I'm literally the whole time I'm going, is Tom outside of their apartments? Why does he know everything about their relationship? And season 4 returners are literally like the second boot, the third boot, and then 2 people who made it very far in the end who are dating. Also, if Tom goes early, I'm going to be livid. I love Tom. I am so mad he got out early in season 4. And it's, again, I'm so angry. Everyone keeps going, well, Tom's an easy vote. Get over yourselves. Shut up. Make a good decision for once.
Also, I thought, yeah, it was funny that Tom clocked the relationship still being a thing, like, immediately. I also thought the way he kind of fumbled into the, like, putting that target onto Sarah by saying that Sarah threw out the name, who I can't remember which name exactly on the tribe she threw out, to be honest, or threw out. But that was pretty impressive by Tom, who otherwise has been portrayed by his castmates as somebody that's like very paranoid and hard to work with and will just like lie through his teeth.
Yeah, how did people feel about Tom? Did you feel like Tom was this? I think this was arguably one of Tom's better strategic episodes out of very few episodes he's been on so far. But
I feel like Tom is going to be the type where everybody's like, yeah, he's an easy vote. And then everybody does the same thing where they all try to keep him around. And then it just becomes a giant shit show. And that's what I'm expecting when that tribe eventually, or maybe doesn't lose. Who knows? Because we don't know how long they're going to be in these tribes. So who knows what's going to happen? But I would assume that that's what's going to be the case. And it's honestly not like a terrible move for any of them. Like I enjoyed watching Tom in this episode a lot. I thought he was really funny. So I mean, I also think that he was smart to instantly go to Sarah, just because she also has a pretty similar story to him of being out really early. I mean, she honestly, I think she's in a good place. She impressed me in this episode as well.
I will say that Tom is one of the most impressive perception players I've seen. Like, he is very good at identifying people, relationships, and what is going on. Where he has failed in the past, and I can see a little bit here, is connecting socially is not his strength. I think he's kind of introverted, or like it can seem kind of awkward when he's strategizing, but like Tom has never made a bad read, and I feel like he knows what's going on. He just can't really act on it. But if someone were to take Tom and like use that knowledge, I know he's been a liar. I know he does chaotic stuff, but like so does Jackson, so does Will. What makes them more usable allies? I just think if someone were to actually utilize Tom's skills, it would be a very powerful duo. Question is, will someone?
Yeah, I think Tom is enticing as an ally as well, especially if somebody could come in and kind of mold him to be like, you know, their sidekick. I think the scary nature with Tom is that he is a little unpredictable and you don't necessarily know like what he's thinking or where he wants to go, which is obviously like not someone you want in an ally. So he's kind of dangerous. I think there's a lot of dangerous personalities and players on that tribe anyways. So like, why not take a risk and align with Tom when you also have, you know, someone like Cooper, who everyone knows how badly he wants this. Like his whole identity is Survivor Michigan. So like, are you going to trust Cooper more than Tom? Like, seriously?
yeah, speaking of Cooper, how did people feel about the fake idol play by Cooper? You know,
The reveal is great.
It's so dumb to do a fake idol thing. Like, I get the appeal on the real show, but like on the real show, it's much more work to make a fake idol. And also, Cooper, it's so obvious that you were the one to do the exact same idol clue as the one that you had to deal with. And it just makes him look sketchy. I think Cooper is the biggest, juiciest target in this game. I also thought we were about to get full frontal from Cooper, and I was like, what is happening in this episode? Why is he stripping? Akshay was right. These white boys are stripping too often and too freely. But no, I think it's so ridiculous. Like, Cooper's already the big target. It's just funny to get rid of him. It's not that he's the best player. It's just like you want to be the one to say you got rid of your host in the game. Like if Brady ever played again, any of these players would be like, I want to kill Brady because it would be really funny. Like that's just what it is.
Rude. Fair enough.
Brady, I'm sorry. I'm a host. I know the truth. If I were to ever play with any of my players, they want to get me out, and I think that's smart. So Cooper's just doing ridiculous stuff, and love that for him. I don't see a world where he ever wins this game. Absolutely not.
How far do we think Cooper's going?
Oh, that's hard. Okay, so maybe I have a little bit more perspective on this because I, as a host who then played with people that also knew me, I feel like it was really, really difficult. And yes, there was that instant like target of like, yeah, you're gonna be targeted all the time. But I see Cooper like making a decent run. I don't see him winning. Especially like after the fake idol thing, like look, it was peak entertainment. I will give him that. That was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off watching him do that. However, I think it's way too easy to sniff it out when that episode is already online. They all know he was looking for that idol. Like to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Cooper right away. So I think like probably like early merge or like late pre-jury.
I heard a rumor that apparently Andrew believed that Cooper would be the first boot in this episode. So where do you stand on that take now? You think he'll be the second boot if they go to tribal?
All right, that's not quite true. I'm a big Coop believer. I love Cooper. I actually thought Emily P was my pre-episode first boot prediction, to be honest. I actually think that this is a season where like targets or like big threats, however you want to define that, but I define it as like the Sams and the Coopers are going to insulate one another. And I don't think that it's going to be really that these big threats are out early. I think they're probably going to make it pretty deep because in an all-star season, a lot of people play scared. And so you want to keep the people that are similar to you. You want to keep these big threats. And I don't know if Cooper is like a scared player, but like I do agree with Anders. I think putting a fake clue out early is kind of silly. And it just it leads towards making blunders, whether you mean to make that blunder or not. Because what did Cooper have to gain by planting that other than just coming across as like a goofball? So I don't know. I think the big targets are going to try to stick with the big targets and keep their names out of other people's mouths. Honestly, like I was surprised that like Dylan didn't even receive a single stray this episode, being like the only winner on his tribe or former winner. So I don't know. I could see Coop making it pretty far, to be honest. I don't think he's out early, but you know, I also had Akshay in my final 3 predictions, so I was wrong there.
So if I can add on to that, so I definitely think that Cooper has probably one of the biggest disadvantages coming in, being the host, being everybody knows that everybody knows him. He kind of knows how the game works. He knows what challenges are going to be used the most. Like he really has an inner perspective to how Survivor Michigan specifically is going to work and who everyone's close with. But I also think, like, with that in mind, he also has one of the biggest advantages because he literally knows everybody. He has a relationship with every single person on his tribe. Everyone's saying that they know him and they can use him as a number. That's like a great position to be in. So I think that will at least carry him to the merge. And I know I was the one who said he might be first boot, but that was just because I saw in the trailer there was like this one thing that made me think it, like he looked like he was pleading with someone. So that was me reading into that. But after the episode, I'd say merge at least, maybe a little bit further than that. We'll see.
Who else? Or sorry, Anders, you go on.
I was gonna say this episode also has a lot of interesting, like random blunders by people, weird decisions early on in the game that seem to be bad for you. Why are you making these decisions? Why? It's just confusing. For me, it's like obviously we have Aaron and Lucy deciding that they are going to threaten people. You have Sam posting a manifesto publicly. You have Cooper giving a fake idol clue. You have Jesse showing off that she has an idol clue, even though it's fake. You have, it's just like, it feels like everyone keeps just making big mistakes because they're excited to be here. And it's like, honestly, and maybe I won't even say this because I refuse to give anyone credit. but certain people may actually have had a better episode by virtue of not making any more blunders. Like, I guess hell is frozen over. Will did make some headway by not making people more mad at him. I mean, was I shocked to hear that literally everyone had a problem with Will coming into the season? No, I had a problem coming into the season with Will, and I don't even know him. So on that level, it's like, it's cool people don't hate him as much, but like, it's also crazy to me, one conversation where he goes sorry and they're like, I guess I don't hate him. Meanwhile, everyone else is like, what if I do the wackiest garbage ever? Wouldn't that be crazy?
So our Michigan players have a lot of energy. They're always kind of bouncing off the walls. I would say, sort of similar to the Cooper. Who else in this episode did you get big, like they're going far vibes? Based on anything, any kind of just intuitions of anything you guys think you saw.
Sarah for me, and maybe Megan.
I wanted to say that I like Emily B a lot, and I think that she's like a big gamer. I think that she puts a lot of time and effort into this. But I was kind of surprised. I think it was Leah who said, like, who is she? Like, I don't even know who she is, which I don't think bodes well for her. I think if you're that player coming into an all-star season where people kind of have you on the back burner and you play hard, but people don't respect you or acknowledge you, I think you have a tough road ahead. So pre-episode, I was excited to see Emily B, but post-episode, I'm kind of nervous for her longevity.
More like Emily Boo. I think that for me, it's got to be the brioches of the world. We're gonna see a rise. And I really think Leah's gonna do great. I love them both. I want them both to succeed. Otherwise, I don't know if I care for anyone. I could actually see Sarah doing really well. I think she already has a built-in storyline, and I think, well, you can't do worse than first boot. So by virtue, she will do much better than the first time. Otherwise, like, Sam is the narrator of his tribe, so I could see, even though he's done the worst job this entire episode, still somehow succeeding. Because if there's one thing white men will do, it's fuck up and still succeed.
I agree. I think Sam is going to be in it for a while. Like, I think that he's around the right people. I don't think, I think Lucy he's got, obviously. And I think, I don't know, I don't see Megan turning on Sam for now. But at some point, I feel like Megan is like really easy to read. So I feel like Sam is going to be able to suss that out pretty easily. And I honestly think Aaron and Dylan are in big trouble.
What else? Is there anything else people really shocked you, or what was your favorite part of the episode, or the part you liked the least, or something that just annoyed you? I don't know, anything.
Before we get into the fun of like what annoyed us and who we hated or whatever, I was surprised. I thought this was a pretty quiet episode from Andrew, whom I thought in season 3 was very loud and controlled the edit for the 4 or 5 episodes that he was in. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I really like Andrew. We share a name, of course. I think he's a good player, and I'm excited to see him like just kind of bro it out with Cooper. I think if there's like one big time bro on this cast, it's Andrew, and I think that that's funny. So I'd love to see more from him. I was very surprised that he wasn't as big a narrator on this episode. But maybe he's going to emerge farther down the line.
I do want to say also, I do think that Aaron has defied the odds before. And if there's one thing that'll happen to Aaron, it's she will be on the bottom but not die, because you got to spite God, I guess. I do think that I just don't think Dylan's like in huge amounts of trouble. Like, there's something about Dylan that, not to compare him to like Gabler, but like he doesn't really exist in the paradigm of good or bad strategy. He just is what he is, and people like him. So I do think that even though they were on the bottom of this vote, if you were to put a gun to my head and said who would go next from whatever their tribe name is. I don't think it would be Aaron or Dylan. I honestly think it would probably be Lucy. Which I know it seems silly, but like I just don't see it. I just don't see a world where Aaron or Dylan go early.
I think you could definitely be right. I think it's so hard to like get a sense on where the dynamics are when we're not at this school. It's like so hard to see like what happens in the off season on Survivor production, right? Like so like that's a whole different world where all the conversations that are not happening on camera are also factors in all of these votes, and they probably will be going forward. So it's impossible to tell. I'd probably like all of the things I've said will be wrong.
Wait,
Yeah, I'll say
things.
like, or sorry.
Wait, just two things really quick. The first one is just from an edit perspective, like Lucy was not in control of this episode. Everything was negative about her, and like the only time she got to talk was when she yelled at Dylan. And then the other thing with a lot of stuff happens off camera. This season is already feeling like a Real Housewives season where it's like they all have friends of the housewives, like randomly when we get, and Bailey is dating a producer. And it's like, who is this? Do I need to know who this person is for me to understand this episode? What's happening?
Maybe not this episode, but maybe potentially a future episode. Otherwise I don't know why it would be included, but yeah, I agree. I'll say there are multiple Survivor Michigan affiliates, we'll call them, who have some sort of role to play that may not be actual cast members, including perhaps Bailey's boyfriend. I don't know. I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah, and like bouncing off like what Shane said, yeah, there's so many dynamics of things going on. And obviously, even in like a 2-hour first episode, it is not getting like nearly like even half it in there. So I'm just like really excited for you guys to like slowly see all the shit that's going on.
There was like about a 15-minute sequence that was cut from this episode and moved to episode 2 that was about all of the cross tribe like relationships going on. Like you probably noticed like when Sam sends his text message, suddenly everyone knows about it. And you might be like, well, how does all these people know about it? It's because all these people, like the game is beyond just one tribe, at any given moment. And there wasn't room for that in this episode, but it's something we'll definitely explore in the future.
I need you guys to consider releasing like a map of all the relationships every week. Just like keep updating it.
That's honestly not the worst idea, honestly.
It would be the most chaotic map of all time, and we could do it, but it would just be a fucking spider web.
What do we think about crafts with Sarah, or some of the goofier bits that were happening? The new Dylan sound bites.
Teach us how to do the magnets. She said, I'm going to teach you, and then didn't teach us.
Andrews, you order them from Amazon Prime, obviously. And if you don't have
and
Amazon
if you don't have Amazon Prime, she doesn't know what to do. And then doesn't tell us.
If you don't have Amazon Prime, you're obviously not committed enough to the craft, so you shouldn't do them anyways. That's all I'm saying.
And then she didn't even have some of them. She just wrote on a piece of paper like the names without the pictures.
Yeah, Tom and Nick.
Yeah, that was brutal. I was like, she couldn't find pictures of those people. Like,
Ian, I loved it as a segment. I like how you edit in these fun, goofy segments into Survivor, along with the intensity of college kids getting pissed at one another. It's great. It's fun to watch. I think also just applause to you for a fantastic first episode. I really enjoyed it. Of course.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna watch every episode, obviously. So love it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the beginning. I really don't. There's nothing I could say. You just have to see what happens, honestly. But
I was gonna ask one question though. So was it purposeful to revert back to the season 1 stairs for tribal council? Like always liked the little like grassy knoll fire pit.
Yeah, so that was my decision. Basically, this was the first season that I had more control over in terms of the filming aspect. Because like season 2, I was around, but I had like no clout. And season 3 and 4, I basically didn't pay any attention to what was going on with those when they were being filmed. So this was the first one that I had any say over. And I also like the triangle tribals they did, but that was pretty much everybody on production was like, we're not doing that again because it's just like kind of hell for everybody. It gets smoky everywhere and like everyone gets really gross and people just don't like it, even though it looks sick. And so then second to that, I was just like, I felt the season 1 spot looks the best on camera. It's like easiest to see everybody. They're right there. and like the lighting is usually pretty good as opposed to some of the other spots we've done it in. So that was my choice, and I just think it looks the best. And the other thing I like about it is, for some reason, I don't know why, I think it's because it's such an open space, but after tribals, it leads to a lot of good drama. It's like people don't immediately leave. Like when we do in rooms and stuff, people just leave immediately, you know? For some reason in that space afterwards, it leads to people like beefing and like talking out the vote and stuff. And that happened in season 1, and it happens even more this time. And so I was really glad we made that choice, because there's some juicy post tribals, I think, because of it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. It's a great area, very accessible. There's a giant parking lot right next to it to drive to. And I think another dynamic was with the fire pit. It was like in the backyard of Kevin's frat house that he lived in. So like for season 3 and 4, when he was producing, like he's like, oh yeah, this is my backyard. Yeah, we're good to go. But then like thinking of All Stars, like he's not on production. I don't even know if he was living in the house anymore. And it just would have been like home field advantage, and we couldn't really coordinate that well with ourselves. So that was just another dynamic going on right there.
Brady, can I also give you credit? Congratulations on your first episode. I always love when hosts do the like this season, but like that first thing, and I always love when they awkwardly stand as it's like a zoom out or whatever. Like, I've done it. I hate looking at myself, but I always love looking at other people and going, "Yes, that is the moment."
Oh yeah, no, like watching it, I was like, I don't think I look actively like too stressed or nervous, but I can notice like my mannerisms are very different. And even like you're mentioning like in that intro sequence, I'm like, I'm just standing there like this. Like, so it does get smoother, I promise. But I was like, for a first one, it's not that bad, but I was like, I'm not even like doing my own personal mannerisms that well. So I thought it was funny to watch.
I think it's very good for a first episode. If you watch Cooper's early ones, they're like pretty rough at times.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I messed anything up too badly, and I'm just happy with that fact.
who was you guys' like surprise favorite of the episode? Like you didn't expect to like them, and you came in liking them. Or the reverse, somebody you were like excited about that kind of disappointed you. I guess we already said Andrew a little bit in this first one.
I'm gonna say I was not the biggest Dylan head like in season 3, because I was an Aaron head and I was a big Brady head. But but like I don't know. I guess I get it now with Dylan. I think because he's already won, I kind of understand it. And like even though I sometimes find his bits a little bit tired, like it's not my thing. All right. I'm sorry, Dylan, and I'm sorry people who love it. You're welcome to do it. It's not me. I get it. Like if I was playing with Dylan, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? He is fun. He is charming. So I apologize for my Dylan indifference before, my indifference.
No,
What do you guys think about Dylan sound bites 2.0? Better or worse than the OG Dylan sound bites?
I was cracking up when you dropped the first one. I was like, oh my god, it was great. It was great. Props.
Andrew, it looks like you're gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, well, it's like it's not fruitful. I was just gonna say, like the spontaneity of the season 3 Dylan sound bites were what, like every episode I was like, why the fuck is he getting included at the end? Like every episode, like what is this? And so like I'm not sure if the sound bites will hit as hard as they did last time, but I love Dylan content regardless. And I actually thought he came in hitting with some better sound bites than the first time. So I am confident that they will come in at good times. I'm looking forward to seeing them just randomly throughout the entire season, Ian. I think Dylan's great. He's great content. Also, Jackson, I think, is amazing content.
Yeah.
Showing an emotional and human side this episode, actually, which was surprising that he actually...
When did he show that? Did I miss that part? What
he said that he said that he couldn't vote out Megan and that he would take her to the end even if she beat him.
Is that what you got from that? Interesting. I felt it was very non-committal, but interesting.
I think that he was trying to, like, Jackson's all about showing that he's cool and that he's better than everything and better than everyone. And so that those scenes are him trying to open up a little bit, be a little more vulnerable and be like, look, I love Megan. Like, I'm not going to her out.
let's do a poll. Do we think Jackson would or will vote out Megan on the season?
I wish I could vote during these. I'm so upset.
I think Jackson will do anything to win.
I don't think Jackson will get the opportunity to vote out Megan. I don't think Jackson's going to make it that far. I also have a hot take on Jackson, but I'll wait until after we voted on this.
I would have said before you said anything just now, Ian, I would have said he wouldn't have, because I agreed with Andrew. I think my first reaction to that confessional was an emotional reaction. I thought he actually meant it. But now that you say it, I'm starting to change my mind. And so I definitely think he would vote her out.
Ian's just trying to throw us off with everything he says. He doesn't want us to know what's going to happen in his magnus opum of a season, okay?
You cannot predict what happens this season. I'm just gonna like preface that. Like,
I would give
Ian was trying to lead you in one way or another.
It's a Tom perfect.
I don't know that there is a point in the game, even if it's like final 6, final 5. I don't know if there's a point in the game at which I would be like, if someone said I can predict the boot order, I don't know if they could at any point.
I can predict the boot order. It's everyone I like is going to go home early, and everyone I hate is going to make it very, very far. So that's why I'm very worried for Leia and Bree. But my hot take on Jackson really quick is that, like, I know that he worked really well with Dale, but Jackson doesn't seem like an extrovert to me. Like, I know he seems very, like, confident, but it feels like a facade he puts on. I feel like he would work so much better with introverts in this game. And so, like, I do think Jackson, to succeed in this game, is going to need people like Tom or like an Adam or a Nick, who's maybe a little bit less extroverted, to succeed, because you can't work with the extroverts. I'm sorry, Jackson. It's not going to work out well for you. People think you're slimy because you try too hard. That's my take on it.
I don't see a super long run for Jackson at the moment. But also, like, I was kind of surprised in all the like tribe conversations. It didn't seem like he had much of a presence, him or Kevin, really. I noticed like a lack of like Kevin in that specifically.
We had Kevin meeting with Will.
That's true.
To form the worst alliance I've ever heard of.
Yeah, that was
they were like, let's make a men's alliance.
Not a fan of Kevin and Will teaming up.
I love Kevin, so I'm very entertained by him. So I want to see what he's gonna do. Like, he's just wild. Like, even when he was talking about it, he's like, I won't vote this person down. And then he's like, yeah, I probably will. Like,
how do we feel about that tribe? Kevin, Jackson, Will, Leia. I mean, that tribe is Jesse. That tribe is just sparks. Like,
I also want to say this. Kevin throwing a torch in that challenge was so stupid because it's a 2 immunity challenge. There only need to be 2 torches. What's the point, Kevin? Like, to what end will that affect anything?
I don't think he's thinking it through. Like, the way Kevin's brain works, he's not thinking that far ahead. He's thinking like, how can I immediately screw someone over in this exact moment? You know?
Yeah,
but
Kevin
it isn't.
Chaos and does it.
It's not screwing anyone over. It's 2 people will win anyway. It's just, I was like, I don't understand throwing one of them. Like, you could have done nothing in the same result. But also, how long did Kevin look for that idol and find nothing? Like 8 hours?
Quite a while. Him and Jesse both spent quite some time.
Yeah.
I did, like, someone in the live stream I saw clocked it. They were like, why is Jesse's idol clue not showing up the same way as the other idol clues? I was like, I wonder. I don't know.
Speaking of idol clues, like Ian or Brady, can y'all give a timeline of how long Akshay searched for his, or was he just feeling confident enough to where he didn't think he needed to search? Because it seemed weird that he had this clue, that he and Aaron both had this clue, and then, nothing really came of it, towards the end of the episode when Akshay knew his name was out there.
The thing is that, firstly, I think that Aaron's whole side, Aaron, Akshay, and Dylan, all felt very, very confident. Both sides were very confident because Megan and Adam were telling both sides whatever they wanted to hear. So both sides were like 100% confident this was going to go their way. And I also, because Megan and Adam hadn't decided until very shortly before Tribal, I think, as well. So there was no reason for them not to be telling both sides that. But also the idol clues themselves, at least these first ones, are very vague. And it being like, there's not a lot for Akshay to go on. So he did look for a while, but I think eventually it's like, how long am I going to look for something there's like a million libraries. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
I have a
and, like,
question.
these people were like the All-Stars, everyone's crazy. Like everyone is like going hard all the time. Like if you see something that gets an idol clue, like they're searching multiple hours for it regardless. And like it might not show it, but everyone was trying hard as hell. So yeah, definitely got looked for.
I'll say that with this season, it's like with how much time things are only being included if they're like absolutely relevant for some reason, and so people idol hunting. You can assume that almost everybody is hunting like all the time, or like if they have a clue, they're looking all the time. But unless they find something or there's some kind of plot relevance to them looking for it, it's not always going to be included because there just isn't time for it.
I have a question, Ian. I don't know if you can like tell us this, but was it like widely known after he told Aaron that Akshay had the clue? Like, did that have any factor in him?
No, I don't think anybody knew that except for Aaron at the time. Yeah.
No, I was just curious if him having an idol had any motivation.
No, it didn't. Although Jesse finding the clue did get around, as you saw.
This is just an interesting point that made me think. It's not necessarily related to the episode, but Leia brings up her thesis. I'm saying her name right? I said it wrong first.
It's Leia, like Princess Leia from Star Wars.
Yeah, okay. So Leia brought up her thesis about people's willingness to play dirty, and I was curious, like, in the show Survivor, when they're playing for $1 million, in my mind, people probably play less crazy because it's like they're playing for money. They don't want to make those dumb, stupid moves that could get them to lose. But in a game and I don't know what Michigan's prize is, I assume not $1 million. But
no, but it's $1 million. It's $1 million.
Okay, well,
actually,
in your
sorry, yeah,
classic Michigan. When you're that good of a school, so. In your mind, do you think because there's no prize, people are more willing to make those silly, like, I'm going to make a fake idol sort of thing because they know the risk of it is like they lose a game and they don't actually like lose out on something? Do you think people's lack of loss contributes to their desire to be as crazy as possible?
I think it's a slight misread on your part. If anything, these people are deranged to the degree at which they're obsessed with winning this game. And I think that what we, perhaps the viewers, can look at it and say that was a bad move. A lot of these people see those as like, they came into this, they've been waiting for this for years. They've imagined all the things they're going to do, and they're going to just do them all. And they're going to go as crazy as possible. And like, yeah. And there's an aspect of like, some of them feel like maybe they don't feel like they were big enough characters the first time. They want to, be big on the YouTube channel or whatever. And so they're going to do the craziest things they can, and they're going to go as hard as they can. But all these people wanted to win, like, more than anything. I don't think anybody in the season would do something just because they're like, oh, it doesn't matter that much, so I can do this. If anything, is the opposite. They're competitive to such a degree that it might blind them to how maybe not great some of the things they're doing are.
Yeah, like the clout and like how much people wanted to win, and the clout they would get from getting that was just like absurd. Like, we could have been competing for $1 million. I think it would have been like the same thing. That's how much people want to win. But yeah, like Ian said, I think there's always an extra aspect of the content of it. And because like season 1 Survivor Michigan like came out after a couple seasons had already played, people started to realize how big of a part that content is. And like the chats and the comments on YouTube, like it's cool, like having people hype you up and shit like that. So yeah, a lot of it's for content and to get stuff done like they couldn't do the first time around. But I don't think at all it was that people like were like, oh, it's just a game. This was not just a game. Like, people are invested. And again, like, so many people here, like, their best friends are all Survivor people. And so it's just like part of their lives, and they want to just go all out. And
yeah, you will see on this season that it was not just a game. Like, yeah.
Look, I have no doubt the Michigan people are going to be mad at each other. I mean, Bailey gets mad over what? Tom saying her name or saying something vaguely threatening in her direction, which, by the way, there's some people in this cast, it's like all they're going to do is be loud and annoying. And take it from me, I understand that. I don't see it as a winning strategy for them. So they're excited to see when and how Bailey blows up and how many times she can do it before someone's like, maybe Bailey should go home.
Yeah, how about thoughts on Bailey? Bailey, someone who didn't do super well in season 2. How did we feel about her first episode performance?
Yeah, I think that she's coming out with a pretty, I don't know, sort of crazy sense to herself. Like she's not really playing a strong game out of the gate. I don't know. I think she wants it like everybody else wants it, but I don't know if there's much meaning behind her game. She kind of feels like a new player where she's very emotionally volatile and wants to just ride with those that immediately click versus like thinking in the long term what might be best for her. Maybe that opinion of mine will change in the future, but I wasn't like super high on Bailey after this first episode.
To be fair, there's so many emotionally volatile people in this cast. Bailey's one of them. But like, I see Adam emotionally volatile. I see Lucy volatile. Like, Erin, God love her. She will absolutely go crazy or become very emotional if pushed. I mean, even this episode when like the threat was, it's like, all right, well, you made a big mistake, but you're gonna do what we want, okay? It's like, I feel like there's so many people on this cast that you push them just a little, and for some reason they'll blow the fuck up. And Bailey's just the easiest one, I would think. She's getting angry about Tom.
Do we have any bold predictions after the first episode?
Oh God, I don't know. I was just gonna tack on like this is a hot take. Like I see Bailey in trouble, but I don't think she's gonna go anywhere. Like I feel like people are gonna use the fact that like they know how she's gonna react to things and like keep her around because of that. I just don't see her leaving. I see her. My hot bold prediction is that Bailey is going to be in this game for a very long time.
Do we have any winner picks after the first episode?
I think Jessie got a pretty solid edit this episode, and I was pretty high on her coming in also. She seemed like she had all the right elements for a type of winner to win an All-Stars game. And she seemed like she got a lot of content. She was kind of all over the place, but having a good relationship with the tribe. So I'm really high on her. I like her relationship with Bree, and I hope the feud with them and Will happens because I'm really looking forward to seeing
Did
that.
anybody feel anything about the potential of a girls' alliance that was suggested by Jessie briefly?
Oh my God. I immediately heard that and went, you're going to target Will, Kevin, and Jackson? Ugh. But then I was like, oh, but fuck, they're going to have to include Emily. Emily, boo, get off the screen. I know. If I know that Emily, what did she say? Sorry, the quote was, it's the Will and Emily show. And I literally went, canceled. So I really think that, they're going to try the girls' alliance. Emily B is going to go, Will, wouldn't it be crazy if we target, I don't know, Bree or Leia? And then Will's going to be, golly, sure thing. Let's also make a really mean text chain. So that's not a hot take. I think
not an Emily B fan.
I'm not anyone who says at the beginning of the season how much they hate Aaron for no reason. I hate Aaron, but I have a reason for it. I'm kidding. No. I think that my hot take, I really didn't see it, but like honestly, Megan is probably going to win, which I'm annoyed Jacob K already said because I wanted to say it. She's involved in everything this episode. Everyone thinks they can read Megan. Everyone thinks that Megan's such a bad liar, but like socially, Megan's so good in this game. And I think in a season with so many volatile, crazy players who are going to be doing so much, this isn't to say Emily or Megan's not doing enough, but Megan isn't doing the most. And sometimes you've got to let the cream rise. If you're riling it up, nothing's going to happen. So, Megan, I'm giving you my winner pick, but I wish I was giving it to Akshay.
All right, who else wants to lay their claim right now? Anders has said Megan, and Ryan said Jessie.
I think I'll go maybe off the board here. I think Bree had a pretty solid episode, contrasting with the rest of her tribe, which is a little hectic. Also, I thought Leia had a weak episode. I didn't think that she was what I expected her to be coming in. But I like Bree, and I think Bree could be a sleeper pick. So I'll go with Bree.
I'm gonna go with Sarah. I feel like it's gonna be bold, but I'm just gonna do it because all the ones I thought of were already said. So
First boot to winner. Be quite
yeah,
scary.
I think that's the greatest story. I mean, it's not like I know Syracuse had that spoilers, but yeah. So it's not like out of the cards for me. I think she definitely has the awareness, and there was a lot of attention on her, especially in like her like previous games outside of Survivor Michigan. Like there was a lot of time on that, I feel like. So I think Sarah is one I'm keeping a close eye on.
Yeah. Any other big moments? Anything big that we missed that we feel like we need to touch on? Did anyone have any?
Oh my god, this episode was so long that Nick literally started with, I love my tribe. And within this episode went, this tribe's complicated. I went, girl, it has been 3 days. Why do you make any declarations so strongly when nothing, you haven't even lost? Why is this so complicated?
Yeah. So I have a follow-up question that what tribe do you think is going to be more messy if they're going to tribal council next? Sangria or Odella? So the yellow tribe or red tribe?
Odello. I mean, that tribe doesn't make sense. Red, I can understand. Yellow, I don't understand any of them. What is the like? I know we're supposed to think there's some connections here, but like literally, you could tell me 2 people were working together, and I'd be like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I agree with Anders. I think any tribe that has Cooper on it is instantly going to be the most chaotic, just because if Cooper even got like a slight suspicion that his name was out there, I think he'd go through hell and back to make sure that his name stayed off the board. So I think like that tribe is going to be pretty intense anytime they have to go to tribal.
Who do we think is next out from each tribe?
If this tribe returns to tribal council again, I think it'll be Erin. I think she's in a rough spot.
It's
Yeah, how do you guys
Lucy.
feel about Tom's plan to threaten to stalk Cooper and like hide in his bushes? How do we feel about this strategy?
I love it. I love it. I
Look,
love it.
Tom immediately was like, but then I'd have to explain how I know this information, and saying that I was laying out in the bushes is not a good look. Like, I thought it was funny, but I also was like, Tom knows. How does Tom know everything this season? Literally, it's like we have this secret relationship, and Tom goes, well, actually, they have this relationship because it's like, Tom, how do you know this?
It was the perfect Tom moment. Like it's just Tom encapsulated in one like 5-second clip.
What do you think about Tom when he was saying, my strategy this time is that I'm going to be more appearing to be honest? I was like, that's interesting. Wouldn't you think the strategy would be more actually being honest?
I just don't. Thomas, I don't know how he's like a real person. I don't mean that to be mean, but like, is he like he just is? He's so wild. I was amused to no end with the whole planet edit. That killed me. Like every time Tom is on the screen, I just like I don't know what's going on at all. But I don't know. I feel like his strategy could work better if he just was like straight up with people, like you said, Ian. Like I feel like he went home really early because he didn't do that last time, and so that really hurt him. And in a tribe where you have Cooper James and a bunch of really other strong players like lying to everyone or trying to lie and seem like you're being honest, I don't think is going to be something that people don't pick up on. Like Cooper knows what's going on. Like he's going to know.
Well, I think, first of all, Shane, you saying Tom's not a real person is the meanest thing said on this podcast, and I will not hear otherwise about this one. I think Tom's point out of the star thing is also funny from like a meta perspective. I think you've got some people who will be white dwarfs this season. They will burn out. They will go too hard too quickly, and their game will falter.
Like who?
You've got people.
Name them. Let's hear it.
Who do I think is going to burn out too quickly?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I do think you're going to see someone like Cooper burn himself out here. I do think you're going to see someone like Jackson, who's starting off with so many little fucking idols and whatnot, burn himself out. I can see someone like Aaron could, because I think that she's pushing really hard. I could see Will or Leia potentially. It's the people who are going to try really hard to make some sort of big move. And then it's Red, the red one, the one that's ever expanding. I could see those as the people with a lot to prove and to grow bigger, become huge targets. I see Sarah, that coming from nothing, becoming a huge target, being plucked out of nowhere. Megan is definitely one of those. I think that people like Sam, who are targets but will only become bigger over time. And then you've got all stars, the people who are just going to do super great. And that's Akshay, that's Bree, the people that I love who will be sniped early.
Anyone else have any thoughts on that subject, I guess? Or really just any other thoughts in general? Anything else you guys thought about the episode or anything really?
So is the next one 3 hours, or how long is the next episode?
No, this is the longest one. All the rest of them will be a more normal length. Yeah, you know, I think that it seems like people mostly enjoyed it. I was a little worried about the length. But I think that down the line it'll make sense why everything that was included. And I was worried that if you don't include some of those other tribes, then you go to one of their tribals later on, there's just far too much to like backstory to explain. And with all this is happening all the time, it almost felt necessary to give each tribe their own little story in the first episode.
Wait, who do we all think is going from Odessa, whatever, the yellow tribe?
The yellow tribe?
Girl, don't yell words at me. You know what I mean.
Yellow tribe, yeah.
No fucking clue, to be honest. Like
anybody but Tom, because that's the most predictable outcome. So it's got to be someone else.
Honestly, I forget who's on that tribe.
Okay, real. So you've got Nick, you've got Cooper, you have
Crouch. Andrew's on that tribe. Emily, Sarah, Bailey, Nick.
Did you say Crouch? Who's Crouch?
Andrew.
Yeah, we call him.
Y'all ever hear them say a name and you go, "Am I just an idiot? Who the fuck is this?"
His name is Andrew Crouch. It's tough because like, for some reason in the game, people call him Andrew. I don't know why, because in every other context, he's only ever been referred to as Crouch. So it would be easier if they called him Crouch in the game too, but they didn't. So, Andrew.
Look, on the yellow tribe, you got Cooper, Gimples, Wigglesworb, and of course Tom. So it could be anyone really.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother trying to predict because I feel like I'm just gonna be wrong.
I'm gonna say this hot take: Red tribe, if they lose, Bree is going.
How does that go down?
Don't even manifest it, Andrews. Come on, don't.
Here's how I manifest it. Bree wants to, or they want to make a girls' alliance. They're gonna bring in whichever Emily is on that tribe, the bad one, Emily B. I guess they're both bad.
Dude, not this Emily B slander. I will not stand for this on my podcast.
Maybe she should Emily B better, and then I won't do it. So, anyways, I could see her telling Will, and then Will telling the guys, and they're like, "Well, we've got to take out Bree." I don't know. I'm just thinking, what's the worst option to leave on that tribe?
I will say briefly to comment on this. Adam actually goes by AJ now, but so within the context of like current timeline, we refer to Adam as AJ, but within the context of like the show and the game, I talked to them about it and they're fine with everyone calling them Adam within that context because there's really no way to like go back and have everybody call them AJ then. But
so does AJ also use they them pronouns?
Yes, that is what AJ would prefer today. So I think it's understood that some people are probably going to mess that up in like, I'm assuming not everybody's going to watch this. Not everyone who comments on the show is going to like know that, but I was like putting that out there. That is the current preference. Yeah.
Great. Then I will say
so AJ, people could mostly do that.
I thought their move was really stupid and I didn't like that about them. So thanks a lot, AJ, for getting rid of Akshay.
Briefly, I will say that I think if the Blue Tribe whose name eludes me, ends up going back to tribal. I could totally see an instance where Megan and AJ end up being on the bottom just because they will have pissed off Aaron and Dylan. And I think Sam will just be like, fuck, like I'll make whatever move that I want to make. And if that means sending out Megan and AJ, even though they just helped me out here, I'm going to do it. So honestly, with all the tribes, I think it is very hard to predict, as Shane said. It's just like anything can happen because everybody's playing hard and everybody wants to put moves on their resume, because you don't want to be the person that makes it to the end in an all-star season that like everyone hates or that everyone thinks sucks. So
I don't know. Turns out you can get to the end and be hated by everyone the entire season and then somehow win. Sorry, we shouldn't be talking about 43. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're mostly wrapping up. Is there anything else that anyone feels like, anything we didn't address they really need to get off their chest? Any big thoughts on the season or anything like that?
If you or anyone or any loved one has been affected by this Akshay vote and you agree that this was a bad decision, hit me up. Hit me up in that Discord, because I'm all there for you. We Akshay stands have to stay strong together, and we will make it through as every vote continues to crush us until Will is gone, and the Emilys. And also Jesse. I'm not going to forget season 3.
Whoa,
all of them are leaving.
Now you're anti-Jesse too?
I'm anti all of them.
Everyone getting ricochets right now. What happened?
Except for Dylan. Dylan's
Anders,
cool.
Who do you like on the show?
Easily. Aaron, Dylan, Akshay, Bree, Leia, Tom, Cooper.
Okay. Where do you stand on Crouch, Andrew?
I don't know. He's straight. What about it?
Nick? You don't like Nick?
No, I don't like Nick. Nick's against Tom.
No, he was talking about working with Tom in this episode.
Yeah, he was also talking about 800 other things. Look, Nick is about as unpredictable as the rest of the season. You're telling me, yeah, I'm literally, anyone who's against Aaron is against me because I'm against Aaron. Only I can do that.
All right, let's get some wrap-up thoughts from overall thoughts on the episode, and just I don't know what's coming next from any of the rest of you guys. We've heard a lot from Anders, so
Ian, I just want to say I appreciate how you make the editing your own, rather than just following the Survivor format. Like, I really appreciated the intro with all of the little confessionals in the background and the Dylan quips and everything. I think that makes it really special.
thanks, thank you.
yeah, also the in memoriam to Akshay at the end was a great touch.
Mhm.
Hoping to see that for every contestant going forward. But yeah, I'll also say, Ian, that was a wonderfully produced episode, and you and your team deserve a lot of credit. Brady, great first episode hosting. I can't wait to see you continue to improve throughout the season, starting with an all-star season. That's crazy. But yeah, thanks for having us on the podcast. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just want to echo what everybody else said. Like, Ian, I was glued the entire time. Like, you have a gift. It was great. It was just fantastic. Every single second, I think, is going to be probably meaningful in some sort to like what ends up happening. And so I'm definitely going to like try to remember all the little clues that you probably left for us. But yeah, Brady, you did a great job as well. Like everyone said, it's really hard to like step into hosting in general, and like an all-star season, that's even crazier. So props to you, and can't wait for the next episode.
Wait, and also the intro was so good. Oh my god, the quotes. I love it.
Yeah, that intro took a lot of time, but that was something I've been thinking about for a long time. Is that like it's like everyone like you see their downfall of what the thing that was like most impacted them before. So yeah,
Dylan, no downfall to Dylan.
Except for Dylan, yeah, he gets the wow, that was something, because that's what happened. He won. So yeah, let's let you guys each want to plug your own seasons or whatever else you're doing right now. I've seen all of these guys' Survivor seasons, and they're all really, really good, and you guys should definitely check them out. Shane, actually, there is coming up, I think you'll see in a few episodes, there's something that I got inspiration from you four. So yeah, we'll have to see what that's about. But yeah, I don't know. You guys want to, I don't know, plug anything you want to before we get out of here?
Sure, I'll plug. Why not? So I just released Scotty Survivor season 2, crazy season, a lot of fun. If you want idle shenanigans, that's the one to watch. But we have a lot coming out in the near future. We just finished our All-Star season, so that's something to look out for. It's going to come sooner than I think.
I don't know how much Andrew and I have to plug for UVA. We have our season and a half that are on YouTube right now, season 4, and
Yeah, but everyone should go watch it if they haven't seen it. So
yeah,
good.
if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's really good. I put a lot of time into it. So yeah, I'm hoping they'll come out with new seasons too. But we both graduated now. We have jobs, so no more editing for me at the moment.
Yeah, go watch season 4. Ryan did a great job of that, of course. And yeah, there's nothing. I don't think anything's coming from UVA for a while. Love the club. It was great. It was great while it lasted. But Ryan was the backbone of that editing crew. So.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, here I am to reverse that. Hi, if you've never seen Survivor Maryland, you absolutely should. I believe our socials are at UMD Survivor. We currently have seasons 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on YouTube. If you haven't seen Survivor Maryland All Stars, you absolutely should. It's a fantastic season. Season 8, Winner Take All, will eventually be coming out. I am working. I am a full-time reality TV producer, but I also love Survivor Maryland. So when is it coming out? You can't rush art and you can't rush me because everything I create is perfect except for what isn't, but I won't explain why. So I don't know.
The words of Jackson. You can't rush perfection, right?
You can't rush perfection. It's too. You know what? Never mind. Jackson's my winner pick. Just for no. Anyways, watch Survivor Maryland and watch Survivor Michigan because you can never have too many M survivors.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was great to hear from all you guys. We'll have to check back in with you guys later on in the season. We're gonna rotate through all sorts of different people from College Survivor and try and get as many people on as possible. If you are from a College Survivor and you I have not reached out to you, or I don't know, just contact me, hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter is Ian Harris or something like that. You should be able to find me at Survivor. That's actually not, that's not I don't know. I actually don't know what my Twitter is, but hit the Survivor Michigan Twitter and they will help you get on this. We want to have as many college survivors as possible to plug and get everybody on board the ship. So yeah, message the Survivor Michigan Twitter, not mine, because I don't know what my Twitter is off the top of my head.
Yeah, just message every Ian Harris you find on Twitter. You'll eventually find this one.
It's like Ian Harris, some stretch of numbers, but I'm not sure what the numbers are.
Ian, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was a great moment.
It's been a long day, It's been a long day.
But yeah, keep watching Survivor Michigan. I promise you, this is the craziest Survivor season I've ever been a part of or watched or witnessed, and you cannot predict any of it. So tune in weekly. I will be. It's insane.
On that note, I'll see you guys later.